What's up, everyone? Be the installer here. Stop the FOMO is joining us shortly, but I just wanted to say hi because I know he had just gotten done with his live stream. So he had Robert from Value Electronics on.
Hey, finally.
I just started the live stream here just because the people were coming over. So we're live right now.
Yes. Oh, wow. Okay, let me pull up
mute mine. Yeah, take your time, dude. I know you just got done with that. That's cool that Robert was able to join you. And
it's funny. He didn't even know it was Prime Day. He goes, wait, is it Prime Day this week?
Oh, really?
Robert, you're gonna match the deals, man. So I sent him my list of all the best deals, and he did his research, and he wanted to beat them. So he was throwing out additional store credit to buy Soundbars and stuff as a bundle and so forth. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. Definitely awesome.
Yeah. What's up, Leo? What's up, everyone? Julio. I don't know what OCN Greg. More people will join us, I'm sure, here in just a second. But yeah, so I haven't seen any crazy deals yet. I didn't get a chance to watch your guys' live stream, though. So is there anything that's like blown your socks off so far?
Yes. The $1,000 A80J 55-inch. We talked about that.
That's when we talked about it.
And the only 2022 model that blew my socks off is the Sony A80K at $2,000. That's a 65-inch OLED for $2,000. Now, obviously, by Black Friday, it'll get cheaper. So if you want the best OLED deal, is definitely the $1,800 LG G1 at 65 inches. That's available on Best Buy. Well, it was when I checked.
What was the price of that one?
$1,800. So actually, you know what?
Oh,
for the G1. 1,865-inch LG G1, but the best deal I think ends up being the $700 TCL 6 series, 65-inch. It's a Roku TV. So people who did not like the Google issues, Roku TV, the R635 doesn't have as bright of a highlight. It has slightly better gradients, slightly, but the reality is they're so close. It's really Roku versus Google. And at $700, I go with the Roku because it's $300 cheaper. And can
you still hear me?
Yep.
Oh,
can you hear me?
No, go ahead. Yeah, I just pressed a button. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just pressed a button.
No problem. And let's see, in the 75-inch, the X80J from Sony is on Best Buy for $1,000. That would be my entry-level 75-inch, right? Yeah, it's a great SDR TV. It's not going to do crazy HDR. The X90J on Amazon is $1,380, 75 inches. That is your probably best HDR right now because.
Do you have do you have a screen of these or no? I'm just curious.
Oh, yes. I'm trying to pull it up right now.
No worries. I didn't mean, again.
Sorry, no. Right.
Like, I just figured if you had a picture of these, it might
help. Yeah, let's do it. Let me do it real quick. Let me add it.
What's up, everybody? Smash the like button when you get a chance. Happy Amazon Prime Day. I'm going to smash the like button myself. I hadn't done it. So there you go. Now I did. And, make sure if you have questions or if you have like serious buying needs, hit us up. Try to get our attention. We'll try to answer all the questions. Obviously, there's super chat if you need to. If you want to do that, we always appreciate it. Sorry, go ahead, FOMO.
No. So what I'm going to do is why don't you answer some of the questions and comments right now? I'm going to organize all the Best Buy links and stuff so that we can share what we see and then go through it together because these deals are actually changing as we speak, as they match deals. Best Buy is actually getting better at matching deals. When Amazon goes up, 2 hours later, Best Buy is like, we got to do this, right? So let me do this real quick. So I'm going to, as I sit here quietly working my magic.
Oh, you're good, man. Whoops. We just started, so people got patience. I'm sure more people will be on in a second.
Well, you know what?
Everybody. What's up?
I forgot to tell you my favorite deal. It's not even a TV.
What is it?
Here we go. The Apple 4K TV, the 2021 model, is hugely discounted right now on Amazon. Even Best Buy's didn't do it yet this morning. Let me get the price. It's like $139. It was on my community link. Make sure I find it. But the Apple TV, normally they don't get discounted. So let me see if it's still discounted.
Got Caesar joining us today. My dog's here joining us.
$129.
$129 for the 32 gig or the 64 or what is it?
It is for. Oh, here, let me share it with you guys so we can have fun talking about it because I know everyone likes to talk about these things. And
Ooh. We already got a fun question.
here we go. $129 for the 64 gig. Right
Yeah,
there.
that's a good deal.
That is a great deal, right?
Wait, that's the newer. Wait, that's the new one
That's
too.
the 2021
Damn, I paid
model,
like
right.
$200 for that.
Yeah, I
You see
know.
that?
It's so rare to get this on sale.
I don't think
So
so.
guys, Amazon right
shit, I
here.
was looking at the.
I just checked it.
That's awesome.
Is that great? I mean, I'm looking at like, you know what? I need to get one. And you know why they're doing this? They're coming out with a new 4K TV this fall, so they want to get rid of the inventory. But no matter what they do, it's still a 4K TV. That's all you need it for. So they're phenomenal, everybody.
I want to see, like, I even got an open boxed one and it was only $150. So I'm looking back in my purchases to see if that was within 60 days because I could take it back to Best Buy and match that, or if it's on Best Buy, but I don't know if it is. But obviously $20 is not a huge difference. But if you're paying $200 down to $130, that's a pretty big deal.
It is. It is. And man, let me try to get
because it's so much smoother than using that native apps on your TV. Like unless you have Apple TV, unless you have YouTube TV, which doesn't work great on Apple TVs for some reason. Almost every other app works better on an Apple TV.
Yep. And since we're on Amazon, there are some pretty good movie deals I was going to share with you guys. If you guys are looking for movies, right? Because these movie things come and go. And so, because we're always talking TVs, but sometimes you guys want to get some movies. And Amazon has a bunch of movie bundles, like these giant packages. I'm trying to look for it right now. I have too many windows open. I'm losing control. Oh no, my computer's going to shut down because I clicked everything too quickly.
So Eric here was telling me another thing that we were looking at, and I did a couple of videos on like the new Sony XM5s and XM4 headphones, those noise canceling headphones. So I made a video of some of the things, TVs, and then some other accessories. And we just, the Sony headphone, the XM4 noise canceling headphones, probably one of the best headphones ever made, was $350 yesterday, and it's $228 right now. So it's $120 off those headphones. That's a huge deal. Yeah. So if you guys are in the market for like Bluetooth headphones, noise canceling, they're amazing. $228 is a steal because they were $350, and I don't think the XM5s are even better. They have more microphones, but I think the sound quality of the XM4s was already amazing, and this XM5s, ratings has them actually a little bit behind the XM4s for sound quality. So that would be a good one. And I can share some stuff too. I have like all these TV deals, and I have all the deals from my video up.
I'm trying to organize
so
stuff.
If you want me to do that at some point, I can. I don't know.
Yeah, here, let me throw this back up again. So let's jump back to the TVs that are currently, and unlike Black Friday, where anything that's on sale, that's a 2022 model, it will continue to be on sale throughout the year because they're not sold out. We're at a point of the year where the 2020 models will be selling out on Prime Day, today and tomorrow. And so everything that's on this list that's in green is a 2021 model. Blue is 2022. So if you need a 2022 and you need to get it now, okay, get it now. Obviously, Black Friday will be better. I would focus on the green models. So ask me if you think, well, is it worth getting the 2022? What are the differences? Because sometimes there are no differences. For example, the Sony A80K, A80J, no differences. Might as well save some money and get the A80J. So in this case, 65-inch A80K is $2,000. Well, the C1, G1, good enough. Save some money, get the $1,600 C1. Or the 55-inch A80J is $1,000. You don't want to pay $1,700 for the A80K, right? Save $700 and get the A80J. So just something to think about, because year to year, the upgrades aren't huge. Ask me about which models, and it depends on your needs. Like the C1 to the C2, motion did improve. So if you didn't like motion in the C1, then it may be worth it. Hey, Crypto, he was on my stream earlier today. I love it. It's a great reminder. I keep on forgetting to put up don't forget to click like banner.
One thing at a time.
Hey, we have, someone had asked us about, can I put up a super chat here? I'm going to
There you go. Yeah.
Can you help me decide QN90A X95J 85-inch? You said it sounded very close, but you just can't pick. Let me go first. I'm sure you have a
Yes.
detailed
Go.
you have a
Definitely.
detailed answer. I don't know what the price is for the X95J, but I know the QN90A at 85-inch is $22.99, and that is an
Mhm.
unbeatable price. Like I would
Yes.
buy that at $3,000. So at $22.99, I would say, even though I had a little bit of issues with some of the dirty screen effect, or maybe the highlights are being suppressed a little when I reviewed my version of that TV. I think at $22.99, you got to take your chances with the DSC and just go for it, because hopefully it won't have it and you won't notice it, but that's an incredibly low price.
And here we have the ultimate insult. So if you look at the 85-inch column, how much is the X95J? $2,750. So it's not even less expensive.
Yeah.
It's more expensive, right? The question is, what is the real difference? So it really depends on your use case for sure. For me, the QN90A was my choice last year for what is important to me, which is I value motion, and I'm able to get the QN90A to the motion that I like. A setting of 3, I'm happy. There's a slight touch of soap that Classy notices. That's why he doesn't like the Samsung QN90A for that. And for me, it's close enough that I don't see the micro stutter, but there's too much soap for Classy. So are you sensitive to the soap opera effect? If so, X95J does that better. But what's even more important for most people is the Q98 definitely has better blooming control, deeper black levels. They both get about as bright in most cases. By the 85-inch size, it's hard for me to compare because I only had it on the 65-inch size. But both of them, well, the X95J has worse DSE at the 85-inch size. You get this grid effect that you do not have on the Q98. So taking all of that, on the Q98, you might have dirty screen in terms of vignetting, but the X95J, you have grid effect that's also very visible in the open sky or gaming. So when you add it up and you include the price, I'd have to go with the Q98 at $2,300. It is an amazing price, as Brandon said, but more importantly, on the performance level, just everything about it. And it's the Tizen 2021. We know the issues of 2022, lag and firmware issues or whatever. You don't have that with the QN90A 2021. Everything just works. And the X95J is also very solid, but it's still too expensive. I'm probably gonna have to wait till Black Friday to see it drop any further. But yeah,
It looks like the X95J is no longer available on Amazon at that price, and Best Buy has it for $3,000. So
yeah, see, no longer available. Thanks.
That's a much better deal to get that $22.99 price.
Mm-hmm. And that's something. Okay, so I want to mention that when people buy TV, more often than not, they buy a TV, they buy a brand they're familiar with. Sony is number one, a familiar brand, and it just works. They know what to expect. You buy a TV and you're not looking for the latest and the greatest. You're looking for a really good TV. So they know that if they buy a top of the line Sony, most of the good stuff will be there, and that's good enough for them. You go into Samsung, you're going to get a lot more fancy features, right? Like multi-screen, mirroring. I mean, the features on the Samsung is a lot longer than the Sony, but if you don't care about those things, then it doesn't matter. They just get the Sony. Yeah, a little slightly worse blooming, but if you don't have an OLED, you won't even notice the difference. And unlike us, we have these two TVs next to each other. It never ceases to surprise me how quickly the Sonys sell out, despite not being hugely discounted. Because $2,750 is still sold out faster than the Samsung Q98. So that's something to think about.
This is a really good deal too. I just wanted to put that up for Jimmy Brody. Just picked up the 77-inch C1, $2,400. That's pretty awesome. Coming from a 65-inch A8G OLED.
Yes, and Amazon has a C1 right now for $2,350, assuming it's still there. Like we talked about, these things are selling fast as they see these prices. And now here's the upgrade. The biggest upgrade for Jimmy, size, right? Image quality, okay. Gaming features, definitely, but size has the biggest impact. So good choice, Jimmy, going to a larger size.
And do you have these in the description, these links, or no?
You know what? I still haven't. Let me pull it up real quick.
Oh, it's okay. I was like, you should just throw yours in there or whatever, like whatever you could, put your like if you have like a copy and paste one, just throw it in there.
I have a copy and paste one right now. Put it right now.
Yeah. You should put it in there. It's good. I'm sure people want to click on these. This thing is awesome. I need to make something like this where I can make a clickable like chart like this.
You know what the most difficult part though is that by the time I'm done with the chart, sometimes it's no longer available. Like, oh, it's like,
well, I mean, it still can click to that thing, and if they decide to buy it,
I just have to update
like,
the chart, right?
But like, and then the pricing's good. But yeah, it's I know Joe from Joe and Tell had a really good one for audio where he had pictures of them and all that.
Yeah, the leaderboard.
I still haven't figured out how to do that.
I'll show you. I have that leaderboard for myself, but it's just so time consuming to keep it up, you know? So let me throw in this link for you guys real quick.
And someone had asked the stream. This stream is actually 1080. I don't know if it looks that good. Someone had said theirs is on 144p. That's weird. It should be streaming at 1080. We can't do 4K, but yeah, it should be better resolution than that.
All right. And the link to the chart is pinned in the comments section, and then I'll put it in the video description right now.
That's awesome. Well, definitely. Let's see. What other questions do people have? I want to see. I'm going to go back up. Someone had a 65-inch. Go ahead.
This is a great time as people are joining us. Let us pay some bills and run our advertiser today. This live stream is sponsored by...
This Pass the Remote live stream was brought to you by Hookeys. Trying to build a PC on a budget but don't know where to buy your Windows 10 software on the cheap? Hookeys to the rescue. Just enter our code PASS, P-A-S-S, and immediate discount. Let's quickly go through the activation process after you've purchased Windows 10 on Hookeys. Go to your Hookeys account and select My Purchased Orders. See your order. To the far right, click on the button that says View Keys Codes to see the Windows CD code. At the bottom of this order where it says Code Card, to the right is the product key you need to activate Windows. So copy this long number, then go to the Windows menu and click on Settings. In the Settings menu at the bottom, select Update and Security. Select Activation, then select Change Product Key, paste what you copied from Hookeys, click Next, click Activate, and you're done. You can download the Windows 10 Pro key and you're up and running. But that's not all, folks. Hookeys has keys for games too. Steam, Origin, Uplay, you name it, you got it. Check out their sites. There are discounts for all sorts of stuff. And most importantly, you want to be productive? What about Office Suite? So download a copy of Office Professional with our code PASS, P-A-S-S, at checkout.
No, that's not bad.
And we're back. Hey, everyone.
I like that. Good ad. Good job with that. Very.
And people ask, do you really use Hookeys? Yes, I do. I have like 3 or 4 PCs that I'm constantly fiddling with, and it's so much easier just to get it through them, and it works, and they're very easy about, oh, this didn't work, they'll just give you another key. So great question. Thank you, Battleborn, for the super chat. Worth $500 to jump from a TCL 5 series to the TCL 6 series. Well, the 6 series is currently $700 on the 65-inch. The 75-inch are all sold out, right? So, or is the Sony X80J better at 75? So, I'd go with the A80J before I go with the TCL 5 series. Now, the A80J is $1,000 on Best Buy right now, if it's still there. And let's see, yep, so you are looking 75-inch. So, the TCL 5 series at $800 is my bare minimum. Like, I'm not going to spend any less, because any less, I just way too many compromises. The 5 series looks good enough for the 75-inch price, but if you can pay a few $100s more, the X80J will have better color accuracy out of the box, and its motion will be better than the TCL 5 series. It's just really Roku versus Android TV. So yeah, it's too bad the 75-inch didn't get the discount, but they sold out so quickly at the prices they had, they didn't need to.
Someone in the comments messaged that if the massive 98-inch TCL was like $5,000 or so, it'd be pretty tempting to get that TV.
It will be once Hisense floods the market with their $4,000 98-inch.
That's right. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, I mean, in the rest of the world, China, Australia, or other regions, they have 98-inch LCD TVs, various qualities, array local dimming zone, none, whatever. And right now, the Hisense, it's kind of like a H9G equivalent. They're selling their 98-inch for about 3,500 in Australia. Australians love it. Yes, it's thick. Yes, it's super heavy, but the image quality is essentially an H9G, and it's very well balanced. It's kind of like a TCL, but except it's 3,500 instead of the 8,000, because it is literally the only 97-inch under 10,000 for sale right now. Now we do have the QN990 QNED 98-inch at 13,000, so it's $2,000 off. You guys want to go premium, so that's something to think about.
Yeah, I was just looking at the prices. Still only $13,000. That's crazy. Expensive. Yeah. That's not really a Prime Day deal. I'm gonna look at a couple things here.
Here's a great comment. Hi, FOMO, just bought the LG 65-inch C1. The C2 is not available yet in Mozambique. God, we have audiences and viewers from all over the world. I love it. And I had FOMO. Is there an info button on the remote control? I don't have the C1 to tell you that. Now, the C2, is there an info button? I think there is. I know the Sony took away their info button from their remote, and people have been taking away their info buttons, by the way. Now, I know if you get a universal remote, you can click, they have an info button, but it's been very frustrating. Right now, info buttons are being removed from TVs for whatever reason. I guess they're trying to downsize the number of buttons. But
it's a conspiracy.
I know. Like,
no info.
No one needs to know. Was it? Do you need to know if it's 4K or Dolby Vision? No. Just take it out.
Yeah, it's weird. You should be able to, like, when it play pause button or something, it brings those kind of things up anyways or something, you know.
And the TCL 6 series is in stock for $1,300. The question is that the 75-inch? Oh, let me see. Oh, so let me go through some of these kind of cool movie collections and see which one you would get, which deal appeals to you the most. So let me go through these movie collections real quick.
All right.
Let's see. All right. So the DC 7-film collection for, let's see, $69.99, right? So, or actually, you know what? This might be a better one. Let me put this in instead so you guys can see everything. Okay, so this is the entire whatever's on sale, right? These collections. Now, as you scroll down in this list, I'll tell you, I'm a fan of The Godfather. So if you don't have a trilogy collection, well, let me expand it so we can see more of this. Okay. $42 is not bad, considering you should not be paying $90 anyway. Now, $21, so for the Matrix trilogy, this is the remastered 4K. That's actually a pretty good deal. $22 for all three. Indiana Jones, hey, grew up in the 80s or the 90s, $40. That's a great price, 56% off. Back to the Future fans, half off for that deal. Lord of the Rings always gets a discount, but it's not as much as the other ones up there. But the biggest bang for the buck, the Star Trek 10 movie collection for $24. No, it's not 4K HDR, but you got 10 movies, $24. And if you're a James Bond fan, almost half off for this giant collection of 24 Bond films, including Spectre and Dark Knight Trilogy. Those of you who enjoy the Christian Bale version, you have more than half off, $33 for the Dark Knight Trilogy. I'm a big fan of the Bourne series. I really liked it. This is Ultimate Collection, 57% off. This is probably the best deal if you are a fan of the Bourne collection. Oldies, another one, $30 for 6 Hitchcock movies. Transformers has its moments. I like the first one, and then I like Bumblebee. The first one I thought was pretty cool. I'm not a huge fan of The Hobbit. I thought the story was fine. It felt a little slow compared to Lord of the Rings for me. Huge fan of The Mummy.
I'm the opposite. I liked Hobbit better, but that's
most
people liked the Lord of the Rings better, but I like the Hobbit better.
Yeah. And these prices, by the way, are just phenomenal. And what inspired me to put these movies up also is you heard that Sony, they were unable to get into a licensing deal, and a lot of their movies had to be taken off the cloud, and people who bought the movies no longer had access. And
Really?
so, yeah. But then apparently this is the small print in all of your cloud digital movies that you buy. They're all called licensed to watch. You've bought a license to watch. And at any time, the licensor could say to Apple, sorry, we're taking this license off, or it's expired, and it disappears. And there's nothing you could do about it. You never really buy the actual digital property. You've bought the right to watch it, and that right is limited. Whereas with these things, hey, you have it in your hands. You have a right to put it into any disc player you want. Boom, you have it. So that Sony thing got a lot of people thinking. And as they looked into all the various licensing agreements with consumers, it's all the same thing. At any time, they can pull the license, and not Apple would pull it, but rather the licensor to Apple. Let's say Warner Brothers says to Apple, you know what? You're not paying us enough this year. We're gonna terminate all our licenses. You deal with the blowback, whatever. So it's something to keep in mind. And
Yeah,
I
that's
like
not
the money.
cool. I have a lot of movies on Vudu, so that would suck if they got canceled.
Yes. Yep. Zack Snyder's trilogy. I'm a fan of how Zack Snyder did his. I like this one. The Justice League trilogy is half off, $40 for all 3 movies. Oh, I love the horror.
Which movies? Does it come with Dark? Man of Steel is the best movie out of all.
Yeah,
those.
all of them. Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and the Justice League redone. Zack Snyder.
Oh yeah, you know what? Those 3, yeah, with him doing the 3rd one, that is a pretty good deal for $40. That's a great deal.
It's only $85.
Yeah,
that is a phenomenal deal. Definitely. And of course, I used to watch these old monster movies from the 50s and 60s. Nice. I loved those when I was a kid. Let me see. Mad Max, we did that. Oh, so the Matrix Deja Vu collection. I don't know what that is, but it looks kind of dodgy to me. I don't know what is that. Is it animation? The animated version? Deja Vu collection. Oh, the Fast and Furious collection, 8 movie collection. It's not blue. It's not 4K, but at least it's 1080p.
$24 for 8 movies. That's a pretty good deal.
Oh, the best one's got to be the Star Trek right here. 10 movies for $24.
Oh wow! And that's the older Star Trek movies, like
yeah,
all of them with
Leonard Nimoy, William Shatner.
Yeah, Shatner.
Yeah. Hey, tell us in the comments below, which of these movies would you pay for? What is a good deal to you? Because it's so hard with prices all over the place, like 99 cents to rent a movie for 48 hours. Is that a good deal? So, hey, we got some super chats here. Big Wheels. Looking for, here we go. All right. Looking at 77-inch. Is the G1 at $3,000 worth it over the C1 at $2,350? Getting much brighter, better picture quality for the price.
Nope.
The G1 is not that much brighter. So last year, especially at the 77-inch size, the G1 is not that much brighter than the C1. You might as well save that chunk of change and get the C1. You're not getting $400, $500, $600 worth of improvement going to a G1. You simply aren't. So I'd go with the $2,350 and get a soundbar. But that is a good price, $2,350, by the way. That's an excellent price. Get a 77-inch, and I wouldn't look at any other TV at that price. I just don't see it. So good question. Yeah, enjoy the C1, man.
Absolutely. I forget too. We talk about this a lot. Newer TVs and which ones are the best and all that. But I go like on some of the Reddit things, and people just love the C1. It's an amazing TV. I don't hear anything bad on those, in that forum. Like just everybody loves that TV for gaming. 48-inch, 55, 65, 77 is a great deal. The 83 is not a great deal, but it's still good.
Yeah. Here's a question for you, because you're a man living large with large TVs. What's an excellent upgrade from a 75-inch X95J? So my question to you, Brandon, is you have the 98-inch TCL. 75-inch X95J to a 98-inch TCL that you had. Is this an excellent upgrade?
Hell yeah, it is.
Now it's only
Absolutely.
$8,000, but
I have, yeah. I mean, we have a 65-inch X90K sitting next to the 98-inch, and it looks like a joke. I mean, you be like, the kids laughed at it when I said we should just watch the TV on that. And because it's like the 98-inch is so massive. I mean, I would say, I don't think you need to upgrade. Why would you want to upgrade from that? The only thing I would do is get an 85-inch X95J. I mean, that's a good TV. I don't think anything this year is going to knock his socks off unless you're going like a
OLED.
98-inch QN900B or something, if that's the choice, or if you go 98-inch QN90A, but I mean, or there's the 100-inch Sony, but those are the only size upgrades. Quality-wise, that TV, like you just explained before, is relatively good. It's one of the top 10 TVs or so. So what really could you do as far as quality-wise to go better? You just go bigger. That's about it.
And let's talk about the word upgrade, because it brings up the question. If you are happy with your TV, there really is no upgrade. Now, if you're unhappy with it, what is it you're unhappy with? And then fixing that cause of your unhappiness is your upgrade. So the X95J, you watch a movie, it's got black bars, you don't like the blooming in the black bars, there's an upgrade, you have to go OLED. Or QN90A and deal with a little bit of black crushing here and there. So tell us, what is it about the X95J that makes you unhappy? If it's black bars, you have to go OLED. That means 77-inch OLED, 2350 LG C1, right? Or larger OLED, because anything else that's an LCD, you're still going to have the lifted blacks and the black bars, unless you go with a Samsung. So yeah, let us know what is it you're upgrading. And streaming sticks, everywhere. These things are all over the place. So we have Roku stick that is. Let me actually, you know what? Here's some deals. I think the Roku stick is like $30, 4K. The 4K Roku stick is $30 or something like that. So let me pull that up real quick here. So much happening with these deals. It's so hard to keep up. And check all the sites, because some deals on one, let's say Costco, may be completely different and a lot lower than Best Buy. Like I've seen a lot of Amazon deals, it's not even available on Best Buy. So that's just something to think about. I'm trying to find. There we go. Yeah, so the Roku 4K stick, just a regular 4K stick, is $30 right now. I prefer the Roku Ultra, and that's definitely on sale. So I'll pull that up real quick. Because I need the Ethernet, the actual Ethernet line. And the Roku Ultra, the one with a separate box, has that. Whereas the stick, you have to deal with Wi-Fi. And I just don't want to deal with the Wi-Fi disconnects.
Interesting. Yeah, I have everything connected via Wi-Fi now. But, if you have a good hard line, it's always better.
Yes.
Oh, most of the time it's better.
Okay, so let's pull this up. Finally, I found it. Hopefully. Okay. So let's put this up there. Oh, there we go. Oh, wrong one.
Big head.
Okay, guys. So we have the best Roku deals right now. $80 for the Ultra, which I have. And the stick, though, if you don't care, you want it to be quick and simple. I like Roku because it allows me to disable Dolby Vision when I want to compare Dolby Vision versus HDR, or turn off HDR altogether and get the SDR feed. So for streamers, these are the two budgets. I prefer Roku to the Fire Stick. I just like the Roku UI a bit better, but there's no wrong answer. They're all great TVs. I mean, they're all great streamers. Quality is high. Or if you want to side load your own apps, you get a random generic Android stick, like the Xiaomi, whatever. So that's something to keep in mind. And we have a super chat here. Hey, John Young. I'm going to get the TCL 98-inch. Inspired. I watch YouTube TV and use streaming services. Do you recommend calibration of the TV, or is out of the box good enough? So, John, get the TV out of the box, watch it for 200 hours, because you have to let it break in for 200 anyway. And if you notice anything that looks unnatural, let's talk, because if it looks good to you, then it's good enough. Your eyes adapt to every issue, unless something is really bad, like, oh wow, that purple is really off. Like I had this high sense where the lips were really unnaturally magenta, right? So I had to get that high sense calibrated because it was like, wait, it should be red. I've seen this movie many times, and those lips do not look natural. Or I've seen this movie many times, and the face is not that flush. There's too much red. That's when you bring in a calibrator. So if it looks good to you and there's nothing unnatural about it, you're done. And also, you could change the color tone, warm, warm 1, warm 2, whatever it is. Play with that first, and if there is one that feels natural to you, then you're there. But once you've gone through all of that, and then you feel like, oh, this is still like, there's something wrong with this color, that's when the calibrator will come, and you could tell them, explain to them what you see, because we all see color differently. I might be highly sensitive to red and orange, and you may not be. So I might want this calibrated a certain way, because it's one thing to get it to reference, but it's another thing to get it to make it where you enjoy watching the TV, because that's what's important, is it feels natural to you. You may not like reference because your eyes don't see in reference, right? That's one thing that people don't understand. Some people do see like, oh, wow, the color reference is perfect, but everyone has some kind of color blindness. They just don't realize which they're blind to. Is it too much red, not enough red, right? We are also it's like this shape of our hands. That is the rods and the cones in your eyes. The color spectrum is so different from person to person. So I never get into an argument about color. That's green. No, it's teal. You're both right. You see teal, you see green. No wrong answer.
There's just a real quick, whoops, wrong one. I'm ready to get the 83-inch G2 to test. I'm ready to get that too, and I'm actually ready to get the 97-inch version of that too. So
97-inch, man. Forget the 83.
See about that. Yeah, who needs an 83 when I'm going to get a 97? So
83, been there, done that. They all end up very similar, right?
I'll let you guys know when I'm getting those. We're going to have some big TVs. We're going to keep getting the big ones.
Yes, you'll be the first person with a 200-inch TV. I'm calling it now.
Well, we looked at getting, was it the LG or the Samsung 300-inch? What was that? The LG? B&H has like a 320-inch for like $500,000, and I'm like, that'd be cool to get that in the house.
Right.
A $500,000 TV. I'm like, come on, man.
And let me throw this a little quick before. Hey, Brammerhammer, thank you for that super chat. Got the 55-inch C1. Should I get a 2400 77-inch C1 or the 2300 85 QNED? You already have an OLED. You have to stay with the OLED family, because you're going to notice, even though the 98 has some of the best blooming control, you're going to notice that it doesn't have specular highlights. That's the one drawback of the QNED. And so for many of you who are asking, wait a minute, it's 2300 for the QNED? Let me pop up our thing again.
You really can't go wrong with this choice here, but if you do have a C1 in the 55-inch, I mean, yeah, having that 77, if you don't have like a massive wall and you're just sitting like 10, 12 feet away, this 77 is going to look just fine anyways.
Yep.
And it's just a little bit more, it's just a little bit like more even. Just you're not going to have too many downsides, but yeah.
For sure. The wisdom is, if you've gone OLED, you can't go back, and it's because the black levels and the contrast. The QNED comes close, but you're not going to get the specular highlights. So Samsung has been working hard on the QNED-B to raise the specular highlights, and they succeeded, but they also raised the blacks. So it's like you cannot have everything on non-OLED, but it gets brighter than an OLED. So if you're happy with your C1, then get the 77-inch $2,400 C1. It'll just give you a consistent but larger experience. There's no FOMO for the QNED if you already have a C1. Trust me. Oh, here's a good question.
The only thing it could be is just the 8-inch size difference, but you can always get the C1 and 83-inch. It's just gonna be more expensive. Yeah.
And Z9J for 4,000. Oh, that's actually not bad. That's Sony's 8K TV for last year. And it's super bright TV, so good reason to get it if you need the brightness. This is a great question. I don't know if I can answer it, though. Does the NVIDIA Shield play audio and pass-through on apps, or is it compressed audio? So I can answer that. Any streaming is compressed audio. Let's just get out of the way. If it's a streaming app, it's compressed Dolby Digital Plus, period. No one streams lossless because the bit rate is just too high. They need to compress the audio to fit into streaming. So if you are streaming, it's compressed. End of story. If not, which do you prefer, the Shield or the Apple TV? If money's not an object, I am in the Apple ecosystem. It's just easier for me. So I prefer Apple TV. However, Shield offers you a lot of options that if you know what those options are, then you go with the Shield because it has, for example, upscaling. It does great upscaling of lower bitrate material. And there are a few other things. The best person to ask that are people who use it regularly because they have a specific use case for it. For me, I just watch content and streaming. I like Apple TV. I also like Roku Ultra. But as far as audio is concerned, the lossless part is dependent on your source. And unless the streaming source is telling you it's giving you lossless audio via the stream, it's going to be compressed. Hopefully that's helpful. Which is the best gaming TV for $2,000? I'd say the LG G1 65-inch, just under 2,000 at 1,800 is great. Or the LG C2 at 2,100. So if you need to save that, if you need to stay under 2,000, then the C1 at 1,600, you're done. Or the $1,800 G1, both of them are great. I choose the G1 because that $200 I think is worth the extra quality of the build of the G1, but they're so similar in performance. But if you're willing to pay an extra 100 or wait till Black Friday, you will get the C2. That is going to be the best gaming TV for 2,000 by Black Friday, or just under, right? I expect it to be 1,800, maybe 1,700. So look out for the C2. But today it would be the G1.
I just pay the extra $350 and get the 77-inch C1. That's what I would do, just because it's such a good TV, and then it would be 12 inches bigger. You gotta get that.
There's something to be said about gaming on a 77-inch. I agree. I think immersion is great. So yeah, if you could fit it in your room, definitely. Yeah. And Michael says goodbye. Hey, Michael, enjoy the rest of the day. Michael, thanks for dropping by, buddy. And of course, SD is going to share his issues with a Samsung. He was a Samsung fan from the beginning, and he loves the S95B. And then there were firmware updates. So took 4 attempts to get a good QNED. That's Samsung's 8K flagship. First one had a local dimming bug, but no DSC. Second one and third had the DSC, but no local dimming bug. Fourth is their charm. Will warranty cover the local dimming bug if it shows up down the road? So SD, well, if you can prove it, probably, because you just have to show them that the brightness doesn't work. Hey, look, brightness doesn't work. So make sure it happens during the warranty. And the only way to do that is definitely the first week or two, run through those 200 hours. Just play content, right? Right? Get the hours into it, because if it pops up, it's going to pop up when you're running and time has passed. So you want to accelerate that so that it happens within the first year, unless you get it at Best Buy Total Tech member. It's a 2-year total, or you get an extended warranty. But otherwise, Samsung's standard warranty is only 1 year.
Yeah, I think my QN900B definitely had that issue, because it just was not. Yeah, it just was not remarkable. That sucks, because I was excited for that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people were excited about the A95K. They thought it would be brighter and better in the S9 than the S95B in so many ways. Turns out it's just more stable, but it's not an impactful improvement over the S95B. It's just different. So if you're looking for like super bright A95K, not happening, but it does what it does well: motion processing, upscaling, right? It's a Sony Master Series. It's going to last longer. And hey, Crypto, thank you for reminding us all to click like. Oh, I need to click like. Forgot to do that. Gotta like myself.
Come on, phone.
I know. Get with the system. Gotta get with the program. That's it. There you go. Oh, okay. Just clicked like. Are you buying anything special on Prime Day, Brandon, or shopping for anything?
Well, I was looking. We just had to do the old phone swap, which I need to go back and look and see if there's any deals on the phones that we just got. But we needed to get some phones. The kids are having issues with it. So now I got to make sure I got headphones, because then they play their video stuff too loud. Yeah. So they had my Sony headphones, the earbud ones, they're from 200, they're 279 normally. Now they're 200. So that's a pretty good deal. $80 off those. And then the other ones that I was looking at, the Powerbeats Pros are just good because they have the hooks on the ears.
Mhm.
And those were normally like 200. You can get a refurbished pair on Best Buy for 119 with the warranty and everything. So that's pretty interesting. $119 for those kind of quality headphones. They're pretty good. They're not perfect, obviously, but they're pretty good for $119 because we had these other JLab ones.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. You can see this, right? The little JLab. These things are terrible. I mean, we've had 2 pairs and they've been awful. They don't connect. They have this stupid like USB thing, so you can't actually connect your own USB. You have to use like the dongle thing here, and this thing never connects.
I don't like that.
And noise canceling's crap. So, you know, this is a good opportunity if you're instead of like going with a cheaper pair of unproven headphones to get like a good pair of noise canceling Sony ones, which are great for $200, or even the Powerbeats for $119. Those are all pretty good deals. And I'm sure there's some Apple ones that I don't really do the earbuds or whatever. So I'm sure people can tell us about those.
You know, you bring up a good point, which is if you're a Best Buy Total Tech member, refurbished is the way to go because the warranty covers all of that. And you get 2 years to return whatever. So you get a discount if it ends up being a pretty good refurbished one. And if not, just return it because you got 2 years to check it out. So yeah, I think that's one of the angles that people should use if they're Total Tech. Buy refurbished and let the warranty handle it. Here's a good comment. I have the Sony A1E that works fine, except for some color banding. I have the Series X and PS5, eyeballing the S95B. Should I wait? Oh, absolutely. Black Friday is going to get cheaper. And even if they sell out, so what? The reality is there is no pressure to get a first generation technology like QD OLED. And if you're just loving gaming, you don't care about the latest and greatest, the C2 is fine for gaming and gets you all you need for gaming. And I'd say wait until the S95B has a successor where they work out any more bugs with the Tizen and the firmware issues, or just get the G2, right? So C2, G2 if you want stability, and hold off on the S95B because if you are casual and you're not in it to be in the conversation, I don't think it's a big deal. And you're used to Sony, by the way. Samsung does not look like a Sony. Just telling you that.
Whoa.
Get it calibrated, but out of the box, it does not look like a Sony.
We got like a naked XD. I'm gonna have to block them.
Oh, I know. It was attacking me all morning. I had KG on, and he was helping me get rid of it. But yeah, that's just terrible.
The bots. It's funny. I didn't even notice that. I just had to delete them all at once. Crazy.
Okay, let's see here. You know, I might shop for appliances tomorrow because Prime Day is still going on tomorrow because I think I need to get a new dryer.
Well, that's some sexy shopping. A new dryer.
A new dryer. I know. It's like, hey, let's shop dryers, everyone.
Hey, man, you gotta save the money when you can.
Hey, that adds up. Hey, T. Beckett, I wonder what is the most popular screen size and if it, in turn, is rarely discounted. The most popular screen size is right now 65 inches. And yes, it is often discounted because they order it in the most. That most popular size is also the largest one in inventory, right? So sometimes if they miscalculate interest, they can't get rid of it, so they really have to discount it. 65-inch size is the most often discounted as well. So as you can see here, you're seeing great values on the 65-inch. Less popular screen size, if it's produced in lower quantities, ends up being rarely discounted sometimes because it's in demand and it's low quantity and it's gone. Sony large TVs, they sell out all sizes because Sony people like buying it on sale, but their larger sizes sell out really quick, like the X95J at the 85-inch size. More expensive than the Samsung, sold out, right? But here you have the 65-inch. You still have the Sony X95J at $1,300, and it's discounted, and it's still available, and it's very popular for this size. Okay.
Yeah, I remember the 85-inch like X90J or X900H. Those ones would normally go on sale. So that, you know, maybe around Black Friday, you might be able to get a deal on the 85s. Best Buy will start trucking those out if they get enough stock. But yeah, I think last year they didn't have enough to really push that on the X95J. That also came out like in a weird time. So it came out in the fall, didn't it?
Yeah, last year, a lot of things. I mean, this year, weird times. TCL is going to come out in late summer, we think.
Mhm.
Don't know. It's still a mystery. And what else? The QNED 90 and 99 is coming out in the fall as well, like September. So it's all over the place this year. And I was going to share some soundbar deals I thought was really good. I forgot to mention.
Oh yeah, I can talk about soundbars too. I got some.
So here's my favorite soundbar deal right now. It's the 5.1.2. Let me share it real quick. Oh, wow. It's already gone up in price. Never mind. It was 300 something and now it's 500.
Which one are you talking about?
I was talking about the M series 5.1.2. It has the surround, it has a subwoofer, but now it's back up to 500. So, but yeah, you were saying something about soundbars as well.
Oh, well, I was looking to look at the prices before I talk too much about them. It doesn't look like the Sony ones are really discounted.
But Robert will discount it. He'll give you store credit plus whatever Sony discounts are available, bundled. So for those buying a TV, and here we go. I found this one.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. What were you saying?
I was going to say, if you're going to get a Sony OLED TV, I would highly recommend a Sony soundbar. That's all I was going to say. Like,
yes,
I've had my Sony have the Sony TVs connected, even the A7000, the A5000, those two soundbars. If you can use those with an OLED and they work together as a center channel, I really like that. For my 83-inch, because it's not quite as powerful as I want with the HTA9, I actually bought a Bluetooth speaker with a auxiliary input, and I'm going to try that out. I'm going to use a big Kanto Bluetooth speaker. So I'm going to use that as my center channel. What do you think about that? You think it's going to sound better? A 200-watt center channel connected. So the HTA9 center out is going to feed into my 200-watt Bluetooth Kanto powered speaker, and I'm going to use that as a center by itself. And I'm going to see how that sounds with the HTA9.
You know what? I can't even predict. You could only try.
Yeah. I figured, it's a Bluetooth speaker. It'd be cool to have anyways, or I can return it. But if I can put that up, I feel like that 200 watts coming from underneath the TV will probably be more powerful. And then I can use the HTA9 to do the rest of it, and even if it produces its own phantom center, just having, or, it'll be directing that sound to the Kanto speaker. So it should be pumping out at me. So I think that'll be good. I'm excited to do that and see how it sounds, because I just couldn't get the center channel to focus on me from the HTA9. It just was too high, and it was kind of to the right of our sitting area. And even when I calibrated, it just wasn't working right. So we'll try that out.
And that's the thing with phantom channels. They don't always work. It may depend on your room or whatnot. Yeah. And I think that's why Sony tried to solve it with making the TV the center channel, but I thought the TV was just too bright. It didn't match the HTA9. The A9 is definitely better. Yeah.
It doesn't match it, but it's better than, I think it's better than the phantom center for my room, the 83-inch anyways. I like that.
Yeah.
And also the HTA9 is down to $2,000 from $2,600. So it is on sale a little bit. So that's a good deal. I mean, basically now you can get the sub included for the same, retail. It was $2,600 before. Now you can get the big subwoofer added in there for the same price, around $2,600.
And I'm glad you bring up the sub. A lot of people buy soundbars not realizing there are packages similar price but comes with a sub. Always get it with a sub. It makes such a big difference, right? Because soundbar will give you clarity of dialogue already. You add the sub and it really changes everything. It changes the experience because your TV cannot even come close to the sub, although it could come close to a dialogue clarity on the soundbar. Someone asked earlier, what's the best TV? Which TV has the best audio? And last year, my answer was actually the TCL 6 series. I thought its audio was better than TVs costing 3 times more. So if you're getting the TCL 6 series, you got phenomenal audio. And it would be the Google TV 6 series. That audio was like, wow, it's better than my QNED. The QNED is underpowered audio. I think they focused so much on making it thin that they couldn't fit speakers. And you're not supposed to, right? They expect you have money to get the QNED, you're going to get a soundbar. Whereas TCL is like, well, you're broke. You could only barely afford a TCL. You're not going to get a soundbar. We'll give it to you right here. So here, I'm just trying to look for a soundbar deal that catches my eye. And so far, it's not. Black Friday has better soundbar deals, honestly. I do like the wireless Samsung that just came out for this year, unique to this year. But as far as soundbar deals right now, I'm not finding any. Well, anything that's like, oh, it's an amazing deal. You guys jump on this before it disappears.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, I was looking at the same thing. The Sonos Arc. I don't think they're going to discount that. No, they have too high of demand for that, and the quantity is too low for them to really discount it. Actually, I think that's $100. It's $899 now. I think it's $100 more than it was when it came out. I think it was $799 when it came out. So that's interesting.
I think I did find a discounted soundbar. Okay, so based on the stars, pretty good, right? When 3,000 people say it's a 4.6, that's good enough for me. When it's 20 people, but the key is if your budget is under 250, this is actually pretty good because it has what I like. It has both a subwoofer and the discrete satellite. Now, this one is not powerful. Small room, your satellite's going to be a little bit closer. I think this is more like just you and your significant other, and you have everything right there. If you need something larger, you're going to have to definitely up your budget. And the subwoofer, put it right next to your couch, under your couch, make it a near field subwoofer. You put it to the corner of the room. I don't even know if you're going to hear anything, right?
You know,
but it has the
Vizios are normally pretty good though. Like this is probably better. The reason why it's got a high rating, Vizio is pretty good for the price. Like I bet you that sub hits pretty hard for $200 for this whole thing. It doesn't have Atmos, but I mean, if, like you said, if it's a smaller room and you're just like 5.1, that'll probably sound really good, I would imagine.
Ah, Michelle, why haven't many folks reviewed the G2? So you mean folks not named FOMO, Classy, and Brandon. So I'll give you my review right now because I did not put up the review. Only because I don't remember putting up the review, but it is now for me my go-to recommendation is the LG G2 as a flagship for this year. I don't have the A95K yet, but for the value, the price, everything it does. S95B was that TV until just the unpredictability of firmware, and its upscaling is not as good, its processing is not as good. So the G2 is a well-rounded TV that I would recommend to friends and family. And well, I think, Michelle, you would love the G2. I don't know if you have it, but the G2 tone mapping, I can play with it. I think the tone mapping is better than the A90J this year, actually. Great job with tone mapping this year. And it's definitely a step up with what they did last year. Peak brightness is great. And I like that they're actually using the heatsink the way it was designed to be used. And of course, it's a gaming TV, so you have that. But do you remember what your impressions of the G2 were? Did you get a chance to look at the G2?
I have not, no.
Okay.
I haven't gotten the G2. I would just say, based on seeing it on the live stream you brought it to, and that it held, you know, it was as bright as the Samsung QD OLED. It was, you had said it clearly looked brighter than the Sony A90J. And that's obviously a good sign. And it has a heat sink. It has that form factor that I'm excited to put it on the wall and see how it looks. Most OLEDs look fine on the wall, and you'd be fine with it for the most part if you put it on an arm mount or anything like any of these OLED TVs. But if you're like trying to convince your spouse to put a TV on the wall or look really nice, the G2 or the Samsung frame are going to look the best on the wall. And the G2 is clearly a better TV than the Samsung frame. But yeah, I'm excited to get it. I think I could put an 83 or the 97 on my wall and be very happy with it. It'd be awesome.
You better be very happy with it.
Stupid, right? Who wouldn't be excited to have a 97-inch TV?
Or who would be excited to have something that costs almost $30,000 hanging on the wall?
Well, I mean, like, listen, I'm happy with the 98-inch TCL. Like, we watched the Bad Guys movie last night. The Dolby Vision bright it's not like remarkable brightness, but it's still like, it doesn't have a lot of downside is the thing. Like the angles, if anything, watching it really wide angles, but watching that straight on a 98-inch, I was happy with it. I was happier watching it on that TV than most other TVs, LEDs that I've seen. Like, this Sony X90J I have has more vignetting around the corners. It has You know, it has way worse blooming. So, you know, the TCL, I'm pretty happy with the 98 inch, and that's like $8,500. So yeah, we don't have to talk about $30,000 TV, but it's still $8,500 is expensive for a TV.
Oh, absolutely. Here's a great question from David. Do you guys think LG G2 has a chance to be the best flagship TV of 2022? Depends on your use case, but I do. I think before the A95K and QD OLED, my guess was that the G2 would end up being the king of TVs for 2022 because it will have the perfect blacks, shadow detail, and it would have the HDR peak specular highlights, color volume. Basically, the G1 was a touch better than the A90J last year in a few things, but because it couldn't get bright enough, it could not win. The G2 does get bright enough, but now we have the A95K and the S95B. So I think it'll be a face-off between the G2 and the A95K, honestly. One of those will be the best flagship TV of 2022. So, but the thing is, if you need 83 inches,
yeah,
you don't have the G2. That's
77 or 83. I mean, like there's going to be, you know, it's going to be hard to compare those two because only the 65, it'll be close. And I think just because like the S95B from Samsung, which I think is awesome, I think that it's just, you know, it's a first run of that TV and it's a little glitchy. Still a great TV. And I bet most people that would get that TV would be stoked to have the S95B QD OLED. But yeah, the G2 is a really good looking TV. It's a third version of that same sort of TV. So It looks like they keep improving upon it.
And this is what we always harp on. When people say, hey, I have a C9, C10, is it a huge, will it blow my mind to get a G2? And we always reply, unless you're going larger, don't. Mm-hmm. And this is exactly Michelle's case. She had a 65, now she has a 77. But the C2 G2, it's not $4,000 better. You're just paying for a larger TV. And that's something that everyone who has an OLED, you're good, right? Unless your OLED is like a C6, C7, where you're risking burn-in. More often than not, C9, C10 generation, A9G even, you're okay. Wait to get a larger TV or larger OLED or a larger QD OLED, right? Because OLED has the image quality OLED, its core image quality is in the darks, perfect blacks, infinite contrast, not in the brights. That's not why you get the OLED. So this is a great observation. Those of you who have a C10 or a C9 even, don't upgrade to a new OLED for the same size. Try to get larger in your upgrade.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is something we've been talking about. This is 2022 TV, the LG QNED 85 for 2022. He's testing it. I'm getting it this week, and he's telling me it's the best blooming control on an LCD TV this year. And the QNED 85 has that ADS IPS panel that we've complained about, but apparently LG's addressed the issues from last year. Classy, is the 85 better than the 90? Just, I know it's subjective. You haven't had the 90 in a long time, but it feels like maybe the 85 might be better than the 90 last year. And the 85 has only like 120 dimming zones on the 65 inch. LG, clap, clap, clap. Your processing this year, outstanding.
We'll see. I got to see this. I have to see it because I don't know. I mean, obviously, I would take Classy's word for it. He's a pretty smart dude and has the good eyes. But it's hard for me to believe that because I really don't like those TVs. So that's my only downside, Classy's. I've had such bad experience with them. I'm like, I got to see it to believe it.
Hey, I'm sure the 85-inch QNED 90, it's on its way. I want to talk to Hui Breakin's question, address this question. My limit is $3,000 for a TV. I just got a 77-inch LG G1. That was the best I could do for $3,000, right? So if you look at my list, the answer is yes. 3,300 gets you the A80K. It's not that much better or better at all than the G1. And for a little less, you can get a 2,350, but the G1 is better than the C1. So yeah, $3,000. You nailed it. Good job. Hope you enjoy it, man.
I want to say what's up to Tech Giant in the house too.
Oh, Tech Giant.
What's up, Paul?
Oh, look, naked people are coming. Let me ban them.
Naked people back. Oh man, block user. Naked HD. You must have done it already. You beat me to it.
Someone did it. Thank you, whoever did it. Yeah, so sometimes Classy does it, or yeah.
I saw a comment just a second ago. What did he have? Oh, there it is. Oh, that's what it's on the screen. I'm an idiot. I can't wait to test my G2 and S95B. That looks like right now the kind of the best comparison for like most impressive picture quality right there. The G2 and the S95B, you know. Obviously the A95K, I haven't gotten it, and people say, you know, I think it was Vincent said it's not as bright. Other people, whatever. We haven't gotten in the US yet, but you know, I still think it'll probably be pretty awesome. But
I think so.
Right now it's, I mean, I thought that the S95B was very impressive, just a little glitchy, but I'm excited for both these. I'll watch your video. Well, I'll check it out.
Well, the question for Tech Giant is, so he has the C1. Which one gives him the biggest improvement going from a C1? C1 to a G2 or C1 to S95B? And what does he have to watch to notice the difference, right? Because I keep on telling people, if you're just streaming Netflix, don't, right? But if you're watching, so definitely when you're doing your comparisons, Tech Giant, let us know where is it that you see this biggest difference. And for most people, for the S95B, it's definitely gaming. So that's pretty consistent. Gamers are like S95B all the way. And big hello to you, Frederick. Capono. Love that comment, man. That is so
right
true.
Here. Yeah, don't click those.
Yeah, now you tell me, right?
Too late.
Too late.
Computer's already frozen.
I know. Now I got a virus. I got to spend.
My crypto's all gone. Everything's stolen.
My crypto's all gone. Hey, the C1 looks better than the A80J. You know, it definitely depends on the size. The A80J 77-inch last year, definitely brighter than the equivalent 55 and 65, but the C1 was consistent along all sizes. So yeah,
I had a video, Capona, in that you know, it was a very used video. It got like 700,000 views. People comparing those two, and I went through like every test, and I mean, I thought they were as equal as you could get for two TVs. And just it depended on what mode you had it on. If it was an HDR or Dolby Vision or SDR, like the C1 seemed brighter in everything except when you had them in Dolby Vision. Then it seemed like Dolby Vision bright for Sony was brighter than home cinema or whatever it was for Dolby Vision on the C1. I can't remember what the modes were. Very even TVs for sure.
Yeah. I would love to address this comment. Anthony, you bring up a good point. With the A90J's new processor and new panels for 2022, shouldn't be up there with the A95K. So the A90J does not technically have a new processor, even though it's still being sold. It's still the XR processor, which is also on the A95. It's the new panels for 2022. And you guys have to remember this. This year, LG's new panels doesn't increase performance per se. It's just more efficient. It's thinner. It's lighter. It's everything to do with packaging and helping to keep the price down than pushing the limits of performance. As a matter of fact, some people last year, when they were comparing the Evo and the non-Evo, ends up looking very similar. If anything, Evo introduced this pink tint that wasn't as prominent before. So new OLED panels from LG, whether it's C10 to C1, C1 to C2, it's all about efficiency gains, making it thinner, easier to package. But the actual performance gains went to the LG's processor. So the LG G2 C2 processor, definitely a huge jump for LG. Sony, its biggest jump is not in the processor, but it's in the QD OLED panel. So the A95K benefits from the QD OLED panel, period, right? The processor is finally allowed to do what it can do or stretch its legs. So as far as being up there, it's because of the new panel, but not, or it's because of the new panel, right? The QD OLED, but the A90J doesn't benefit from the new panel, and the new processor is just probably a firmware update to fix this and that. But the A90J is pretty much the same. Yes, the G2 is a beast. Right now, it's like my go-to reference TV for people who are ready to upgrade. They're not into all the little details. G2, you could afford it, call it a day. You'll be happy. That's it. Now, how likely do I think LG will go to QD OLED for the C3, G3 next year? Highly unlikely, because LG Electronics, their TVs, they buy their displays, their OLEDs, directly from LG Display. If they go anywhere else, they jeopardize their own family's revenue, right? They will not go to QD OLED unless they're losing a lot of sales to QD OLED. Then they'll source some QD OLEDs from Samsung. But if they can still sell to the volumes they want via their OLEDs, they will stay with their WOLED technology because they're so invested in it. They make more money off of OLED on a margin basis than on QD OLED. So it is highly unlikely they'll go to QD OLED. And with their new technologies that's in the horizon, the MLA, Meta Lens Array, it will allow their OLED, WOLED, to elevate its performance, arguably match or exceed QD OLED. We'll see, but that's the claim. Their early prototype shows their OLED with the MLA could hit 2000 nits peak brightness. So they're there. The question is, can they match the color luminance of QD OLED? So we'll see. Nothing about that. Any good amp deals? I don't follow amplifiers, but I don't know. I'm a big Class D amp guy myself, only because it does the job. Always a good discount. Get a crown amplifier if you're into home theater and call it a day. It runs cool, it just works, and they're very affordable, and they have all the power you need. So I'm a big fan of crown amplifiers.
Are Chan and them doing a live stream like they're the Daily Hi-Fi? Do you know if they're going to be doing one?
Yeah, they do it every Monday.
Monday, so they're probably not doing one this like during the next day or two. You can check out. They probably had talked about what deals that they recommend too. So check out the Daily Hi-Fi pod. Is it the Daily Hi-Fi? Yeah, that's
Daily Hi-Fi. Yep, the Daily Hi-Fi. That's what they call it. Yeah, and they will definitely focus on amplifier deals because they are into, well, Daily Hi-Fi, stereo speakers, amplifiers, processors. For sure, that's a good place to ask for a good amp deal. And it changes throughout the day, right? What's good right now may disappear 2 hours from now. FOMO strikes Michelle. Let me ask you this. 83-inch C1 or the 77-inch G2? It's only a 5-inch difference. What are your thoughts?
That is a tough one, man.
I say only, but does that 5 inches make a huge difference when the G2 is slightly brighter?
No, it's not, but it's not slightly bright. It's pretty significantly brighter, isn't it?
Depends on the content, but it could be. If you're gaming, it could definitely be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that, like, I know Chana, when we had Techno Dad, I messaged him, or I brought his 83 up there, and he thought there was a pretty significant difference. I've seen them kind of side by side. I don't think it's that 6 inches isn't that big of a difference, but then again, maybe the brightness isn't that big of a difference either. I don't know. I probably would go back to Michelle trying to figure out if you wanted it to look like flush on the wall or if you're going to leave it on the stand. If you're going to leave it on the stand, the C1 looks cooler. If you're going to put it on the wall, the G2 looks better. So like that's probably where the breakdown would be. And then also the G2 has the newest panel. So it's like I probably would go with the G2 on the wall there. If they're same priced, or maybe just wait further until Black Friday and get the G2 83-inch at a better price,
There you go. Yeah. Or the C2 83-inch at this price next year because she already has a G1 or C1, right?
Yeah, or just wait for her crypto to go way back up and then she can buy the 97-inch G2. There you go. Then
you're going to hold on to that. And here's a feeling everyone has. They just bought the G1 last year. They were excited for a whopping 8 months, and then the G2 is out. So here's my recommendation, Wayne. You're going to have FOMO every year from now on because every year there's something new. So this is how you should think about it. You have the G1, and you say to yourself, I'm going to replace it in 4 years. Imagine how good the TV will be in 4 years. Don't have FOMO for the G2. Have FOMO for the G5. What will the G5 be like in 4 years? Or the S95B Mark V, right? Or Sony's A95K Master Series Mark V 4 or 5 years from now. Think about that. Then it will get rid of the FOMO for the G2 because no matter what, 4 years from now, those TVs will blow away the G2. Well, when I say blow away, dark levels, right? Probably looks the same, but other things will be better. The MLA, the Meta Lens Array, will be out there. It'll be tested. It'll probably trickle down to the G2 or G4, G5. That is a huge difference. So context, my friend. Wait it out. Time is your best friend.
Oh yeah, now Michelle's talking about my crypto advice. I had no financial advice, but I will say I have one crypto that I've been really impressed with, even though everything's been crappy, and that's Quant, QNT. If anyone is into crypto, you got to check out Quant in the past. It's remaining very high, even though everything else is tanking, including Bitcoin, just still down. That Quant QNT is going to explode once everything goes back up. It's already doubled in like the last 10 days. So it's the only one in green today.
And for those that don't know, this is for informational and entertainment purposes only, not investment advice. As a matter of fact, we recommend you don't invest. You have to neutralize. Hey,
Yeah, don't, for real.
this is Classy's observation. The 83-inch panels all on average have worse panel uniformity and banding than the 77 inches. And so for many of you looking at the 85-inch and above, you may have panel uniformity issues across all technologies as well. This was a complaint about Sony TVs last year on the 85-inch size as well. As you get bigger, it just gets harder to keep everything perfect, and it keeps keep the tolerances perfect. That's why larger TVs are so expensive. It's hard to get them to all work together. So you're going to have to accept that if you go larger, it's not as perfect as a 48-inch TV or a 55. So if you're used to perfect uniformity on a 55-inch OLED and you bite the bullet and go larger, just think about it. What do you have? A projector, right? So the projector has other shortcomings. You don't get HDR as well. Everything has a compromise. The priority of getting an 83-inch is you want 83-inch, and you're okay with everything else falling short. Once you accept that, then everything is good. Okay.
I'm trying to decide if I should pull the trigger on these headphones.
Pull it, and
I
then
have
if you don't like it,
Sony, $200 Sony headphones, or $120 Beats by Dre, both earbuds. They're both low price.
$120 Beats by Dre.
I've had them both. They're both good. Hey, the Beats by Dre ones, like I said, they're not the best in the world, but each headphone lasts for like 12 hours. So it's like you can put one in and 12. You can wear them 24/7.
Yeah.
And they're indestructible and they go over your ears. So I think it's the good choice for my son because he will beat them up. So
no, wasn't it a thing that people wearing Beats headphones were getting mugged and robbed?
These are like
on the subway. I mean, this is way back when it was really popular. Right now, it's kind of like that's so 1998 or whatever, but or 2000, whatever it came out, right? 2000 something.
That's crazy. I don't know.
Oh, here a question for you.
I was going to click on that. That's a cool one. Good question.
What would you say is the biggest jump in TV technology you have witnessed in your lifetime? For me, OLED. And everything after that's so similar to OLED. But for me, definitely self-emissive OLED. That's the biggest jump.
It's kind of weird that they're able to do that with an OLED TV to get organic material to light up in different colors, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it was the first 18-inch OLED back then was like $18,000 or $24,000 or whatever, and it was tiny. And then now look where we are, right?
I can like 3D print it, or how are they printing them?
Which one?
Like these new TVs, or they're able to like print them faster, like
inkjet printed.
Inkjet.
So the QD and QD OLED is inkjet printed. So the technology is definitely different, but the image quality ends up being very similar to the traditional WOLED from LG. So completely different path to get where LG is, but once you look at the same content, it ends up being very similar. But going from a non-OLED to OLED is such a obvious jump. Like if I gave you a C1, G1, A90J, G2, and I fed you same content, without them next to each other, you couldn't tell. Like watch it for 5 minutes, leave the room, wait 5 minutes, come back. But if you're done with the OLED, you will remember the difference. And that for me is a big technology jump, is your memory of what you saw. If you can't tell after 5 minutes, that means it was not a big jump. With OLED, going from non-OLED to OLED, and yes, full array local dimming from Samsung has closed that gap. But when OLED was released, let's say 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, wow, there was no local full array local dimming. I mean, that change to a C6, C7 back then, 5, 6 years ago, from whatever TV that was for sale, that is the jump I'm talking about. Now the QNED, QNED has gotten close. There are some images where you can say, oh, I can't tell. but I have to select those images. But 6 years ago, I didn't have to select anything. Oh, it's not even close, right? There was no local rate dimming or anything like that. So for me, it's definitely OLED. Kat still hasn't decided. What is the best TV budgeting for budget gaming movies? No problem, 55-inch. And she keeps on saying no blooming, right? If you keep repeating no blooming, you got to go with an OLED.
Get that 55-inch. Yeah, the 880J for $999. Boom.
Boom. You're done. 880J.
Oh, that's what Classy said too. Never mind. He already got it. He beat me to it.
Yep. And you better move now. That's it. Better move now. It's on Best Buy. That means everyone sees it, not just you, and they will sell out.
And the sound is not. The sound is halfway decent too with those acoustic Surface speakers. Mm-hmm. Honestly, you get that TV, you won't have any problem, in my opinion, unless you're, I don't know, the gaming, the VRR crap, I don't know, whatever. But
yeah,
that TV right there, or the C1, but the C1 is $1,300, right?
Mm-hmm.
At that same price.
G1. That's the G1 at $1,300.
What's the C1 at 55-inch? Sorry,
it's
right in front
of 1100, 1150, right? It's like 1100, 1150 something.
You don't have it on there anyway. So
I don't have it on there because I'm like, you know what? At that price, I'd go with the G1. So if you're starting to trend up to 1150, 1200, then an extra 100 gets you the G1. So I kind of like split the difference. You either get the A80J and save money, or you spend an extra $3 and get the G1.
There you go.
Because you're going to get some separation there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Oh, Don has a good point. Plasma was a big deal then as well. So I had a Plasma Kura I also enjoyed greatly. I think the thing is that, if I remember correctly, didn't Plasma have slightly lifted blacks as well? I mean, it was self-emissive, but was able to get, I think, the dynamic range that's natural on the OLED. It was a natural for the OLED. But if you only watched SDR, yeah, I'd say the Plasma is very close as
For
well.
me, I've never liked Plasma TVs because they're so damn heavy that I had to mount them, and they were like 200-pound TVs. So I've always hated Plasma TVs. And Paul put up here, for me, it would be going from a black and white TV to color.
And that's in your lifetime. Wait, we forgot to explain your lifetime.
It's also dating you, man. You shouldn't be writing things like this on the internet, bro. Like I think I didn't have. I don't know if I had a black and white.
Well,
TV.
wait, so shouldn't we say it's just getting a TV? Right? The biggest TV technology is just getting a TV, going from a radio to a TV.
How about just going from a CTR or CRT, like the CRT, where it was on a console and it was like it could swivel. Mm-hmm. It was a big wooden TV that could turn left and right. And I'd have to pick up the edge of that to vacuum under it, and it was like 200 pounds.
Yes,
that was that's how old I am. So there you go.
Yeah, agreed. And people, FOMO, is there a noticeable difference between the G2 and the 2021 models? It depends on what content you're watching, what you're doing. This is why we say it's so content specific. If you're just watching the news, no. Basic Netflix, no. HDR Netflix, maybe. Depends on what it is. The G2 does have better motion. So for me, that's the biggest difference. But then its motion is now matching the Sony's. So compared to a 2021 Sony, the motion is about the same. But G2 is a little bit brighter in specular highlights than the 2021 Sony's, even the A90J. But it's content specific. If you're not watching those content where you see the differences, then it's not noticeable, right? So Trevor, you have to tell me what you're looking for sure. Because if there is nothing specific you're looking for, you may not notice the difference at all. Oh, yeah. This is what we're talking about. The flat screen versus the giant CRT vacuum screen. Oh, my gosh. 300, 400 pounds for a 24-inch TV is just insane. It's like a giant piece of furniture. What soundbar pairs best for the LG OLEDs? Well, lucky for you, in 2022, LG's updated its entire soundbar lineup, and apparently they work a lot better. So the LG soundbar will work best because you're not going to have e-arc handshake issues, which is still a problem between different brands. As great as a Samsung, a TCL, or Vizio, whatever soundbar may be, it has to actually play nice with your TV, and that's not always guaranteed. So I normally recommend sticking with the TV's own branded soundbar if you can. And fortunately, LG, Sony, and Samsung offer amazing soundbar packages that perform very well this year. So you're not cutting anything short now. Like before, the LGs weren't quite up to snuff compared to the Sony and the Samsung, but this year it is. And Vizio is not bad either. It's a great value. So unless you are trying to get a Sonos or a JBL, we don't know how well they'll play with the LG OLEDs, but its own branded soundbar will always work. Well, I shouldn't say always, more often than not. Okay, here.
I want to know what other deals people have gotten. Like, people need to message us. What things have you actually bought? It doesn't have to just be TVs.
Oh
It can be
yeah,
anything.
what did you guys buy on Prime Day? Let us know. Like, or what are you shopping on Prime Day? Because I like the Roku streaming stick for $30 on Amazon. It's normally $50, but you know what? It's a big enough discount that I would say go with it. So let me show this real quick. Because you guys are all sick of TVs, right? Come on. You guys buy TVs all the time.
I don't think so. I think people like TVs. That's probably why they come on here. Is they like TVs.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, is that your logo in the back of the Samsung frame? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I uploaded my logo, you know.
That's awesome.
That's why I love the frame. It's you can mount it vertically and things will show up and it just adjusts on its own vertically. I do like it for sure.
We got to put another comment up there from Paul. It's hilarious. Right here. Who had a TV with the remote control on a wire? That's hilarious. I don't think I remember that. Do you remember that?
Okay. I had a remote control where you only clicked on and off. The remote was so bare bones and it was huge. But I never had one with a wire. Boy, talk about before your time. My goodness. Okay, robot vacuums. Do you have one? I have one that I use occasionally, and I like it, but I'm looking for a good robot vacuum mop. The mop ones are hard.
Don't cheap out on these. That's what I would say.
Yes.
Because the crappy ones are really crappy.
I have the iRobot. I have the iRobot, and if you buy it through Total Tech Support, 2 years replacement. Mine fell apart after like 10 months, and they just replaced it, gave me a new one. So, but I like the iRobot. It's a little bit expensive, but you know, it just works. And that's another thing. These robot vacuums are pretty expensive. We got ours
for like $150, and it just was always crap. It was crap from the get-go, and it's been crap since. It just the battery was dead. It would get lost. It would never come back to the charger. It would get caught on a cord. We'd find it like underneath things. It was the worst. So get a good one if you're going to buy one.
Here's a good deal. UHG for $800. I can fall behind that. And here we have Leo 704. Thanks for dropping by for Classy Tech's awesome QNED 85 review. Leo is the #1 cheerleader for LG's QNED Mini LED technology. Love it. Oh, wait. Did you ever have a VCR where the remote had a wire? So this is one I've never seen this one at all. And there's apparently an NVIDIA Shield Pro sale, $169.
I need to try that. I legitimately haven't used the NVIDIA Shield before. So him saying that that's the best, I would take his word for it. I want to try it out because I don't even like Apple products. I just had it because a client of mine gave me a couple of them, and I'm like, oh, they work better than a Roku typically, you know. I just like the UI or whatever. It's just like you know, I just like it. It's a little smoother. I don't like the Roku where it's like click, 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 clunk, click, clunk, clunk, clunk.
That's why I like the Apple TV. I mean, I'm just used to it, but I know the Shield is a good product, especially if you use all of its features. I just don't have time to explore all the features. Did you ever have a TV that had rounded edges? Remember those? They were so old that I remember.
I don't know.
I think my parents had one, and that's the TV that they stuck in my room as a kid. Was a TV with a round corners. It was like a 17, 21-inch black and white TV. It was horrible.
All this stuff we're talking about with old stuff makes me think of like the TV show Stranger Things for some reason, like where it's set in the late 70s or early 80s. It's pretty funny. Back in the Wayback Machine. That's a great show.
Way back machine. All right, so this question, let me pull out the price file here real quick. And all right, $1,200, 75 inch.
X80K, no dimming zones, right? This is
Nope, no
direct lit.
Yep. Well,
I haven't seen it, but I would probably say it's a halfway decent deal. But
right.
it's probably going to get a lot more aggressive price, wouldn't it? Like
Yep.
probably
Well,
$1,000.
X80J is $1,000 right now, or X90J is $1,380. I'd get the X90J at $1,380. It's only an extra $180 more, or save a little bit of money and get the X80J because it's not $200 better than the X80J. So, I mean, X80. This is why X80K is a new TV. It has a lot of room to be discounted. It will drop closer to $1,000 by Black Friday. So if you're not in a rush, just wait. And then you'll have more reviews of the X80K to make sure it fits your use case. But other than that, it's a fine TV. There's nothing wrong with it. But I think 75 inches, you could do better once TCL updates its 75-inch TVs. Unless you're stuck with a Sony, like you want a Sony brand, then you could look at the X90J for $1,380 and save a little money with X80J, because I know the X80K will definitely get cheaper. Oh, Michelle's so right. I have a robot vacuum, but I have to pick up stuff off the ground before I use it, right? It says, don't leave this there, don't leave that there. So you have to pick up stuff, and you don't pick up everything anyway.
That's the thing. Like, I'll be honest, I'm not much of a cleaner, and I made the decision long ago to hire someone to clean the house because it's so much easier on your mind to just, if it's not something that you have to worry about from the deep cleaning sense on a weekly basis. But then the problem is you have to like pick all your kids have to have all their stuff that, you have to have everything organized to have someone even clean your house. So it's just like, it goes down to like a cellular level. You still have to keep your house somewhat clean in order for anything to be effective,
Yep. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Or something, if something isn't, or it goes in the wrong circle, whatever. Oh, is it stuck on something? We're not quite there yet. I think we're close. Maybe another 4 years, it'll be a bit more trouble-free.
I want to address a comment real quick about cryptocurrency. You said, tell us about prices when they are cents on a dollar, not $82. That's funny. But this quant was $400.
One time.
It was $400 a few months ago or 6 months ago. And most people think that it's going to get to $1,000 per coin. So right now, again, nothing is safe. And I wouldn't even, my recommendation would be not to buy crypto. I am cash out right now because I think, as we're about to find out in the next 2 weeks, that the US is in a recession. I think everything's going to crash again. I think the regular markets are going to tank here before the end of the fall. What do you think about that? I mean, that right now the real estate market's up. The prices are still up. Interest rates are going up, so it's going to slow down. But that, at least in the real estate, the demand is so high and the supply is so low that I don't see that going anywhere. But everything else is going to crap. I think it's going down before it's going to go up.
So we're over leveraged on many things. That's when you deleverage everything, right? When you unwind everything, that's when everything starts falling apart. And you mentioned crypto. Crypto was way over leveraged. I mean, you saw what happened. The minute it started dropping in price, suddenly, was it that large 3AC Aero Capital Fund just disappeared? Yeah. The owners have literally disappeared. He just bought a $55 million house a couple of months ago. It's insane.
Even the ones that are like, you got like Voyager basically not allowing withdrawals. You got other ones like Celsius and other things. Basically what they've been doing, just if people care or don't care, I can say it real quick, but a lot of these companies that have gotten a ton of money and then taken our money as deposits, then take the money that they have, they use our money and they put it in like very speculative deals backed by stable coins that are falling apart. And there's just a lot to it. But more or less, there's a lot of people doing a lot of things with your money when you get crypto. So it's very risky. And I don't know. Right now is about the time to just get some Apple stock or maybe some Tesla stock or something that just seems a little bit
real products,
right? Something, anyways. So that's that.
This is a great comment by BD. I just missed it. Sorry, BD. I saw it and then go, oh, this is great. And then so many things happening. Okay. And Classy's here. So I want to get Classy's take on this. So apparently people are saying, someone's saying that the new PS5 update results in a VRR flickering issue that supposedly can result in burn-in. So not knowing anything more, there's nothing I can really say other than we have to wait and see. Where is this coming from? I mean, what is Sony's official position? It's not enough that they put a quick comment there and say nothing further, right? If Sony is saying that PS5 plus VRR plus flickering on an OLED may result in burn-in, we need to know, well, get more information. Is this Sony's official position? Where is it posted? Is it now in their warranty warnings or something like that? So BD, if you have any links, let us know. I'll check it out right now and talk about it because this is important. It does affect people who are gaming on a PS5 with VRR and OLED. And if it can, anything that increases the risk of burn-in, you know what? It destroys your sales. I don't care if it only increases it this much. It will be overplayed. It will be just exaggerated. But the fact that if it's coming anywhere close from Sony or a related retailer, that's a problem. So yeah, source for this, let me know, because I heard it from BD, so I cannot say I've independently verified it, but that's an important point if anyone knows about that. And let's see. Oh, you know, someone mentioned about buy a TV or buy a house, since we're talking about housing prices not going down anytime soon. Housing support, if you have low interest rates and people are well employed, as long as there's enough people who are employed and they can afford the payments and the interest rates are low, they will continue to buy houses. The question I have is, how can people pay for these constantly increasing prices without their salaries going up? So at some point, it's going to have to stop going up. The question is, will it ever go down? And that only happens when we start having mass unemployment, meaning the employment rate is this, and then unemployment starts to take over, and all those people are unemployed. Guess what? They're selling houses. And now I'm already seeing discounts in Portland, right? So I was like looking at houses in Portland and the Northwest, and already, oh, you know, just last week, 50,000 off, 30,000 off. Like, people are finally noticing it's cooling off.
But those are discounts on overpriced houses anyway.
Yes.
Because the thing is that I've been watching some of these guys like Graham Stephan and other people talk about the housing industry. He's a YouTuber that does real estate, and there's too many companies buying houses though. Some of these companies are buying up all the properties and then making people rent off them. So that's the problem. Those companies aren't going to be selling. So it's not like the housing industry is going to pop necessarily. I mean, it would have to be massive issues. And so people that are, were listing their houses for $1 million when it was only really worth 600,000. Now they're bringing it back down to 900 or 800,000. So there are some discounts to be had, but the problem is interest rates are going up more than people are reducing the prices in their house. So then you're going to be paying more interest anyway. So we're looking to buy a house, but there's a lot of issues. I'm hoping also that there'd be some bubble, but I don't know if there's going to be. Fannie Mae has predicted that it's still going to go up 10% this year in overall house prices. So that's, not a great sign. We shall see.
We shall see. So I did Google based on your recommendation, and this is off the Japanese website. We'll talk about the VRR flicker resulting in OLED burn-in. So according to a Japanese media, when using the VRR function of the PS5, temporary flickering and display panel burn-in may occur. So I'm wondering if this is a translation issue. This new issue appears to have a link in the latest update. While there's no fix for the issue right now, it appears that not all unit experiences a problem. So this is from Giz China. So I'm going to try to post this and share with you guys. And thanks for that, BD, mentioning that. I mean, might as well. This is important. People are wondering, hey, should I get an OLED? So I'll just throw this out there. Not to be an alarmist, just talking about this. We have to wait for it to be verified by people who are more in the know, but at least it's worth mentioning for sure.
So I've been talking with Paul. We're going to try to get him to come on, the tech giant, after he has his G2 and S95B comparison. So hopefully he can join us. He said he'll bring his wired remote. He sent me
the wire. He still has it.
Dude, it's hilarious. I'm going to show you the picture because it's too funny. But here, look at this picture. There's his wired remote.
Oh my gosh.
That is something else, man. I mean, that is pretty funny. I can't believe he's got that.
So PS5 is actually asking you to disable VRR before updating to the latest Sony PS5 firmware. Huh. Well, so here's the thing. You have two choices. They put this out there. If you have burn-in, you have no one to blame but yourself. But if you don't, then, well, it is what it is. So like Classy said, maybe it's just attorneys covering themselves in case. But the question is, why would they even put this out there? I mean, did someone have burn-in after VRR? I would never have envisioned this happening, honestly, right? So it's not something you make up unless something did something. So we'll have to see. A lot of people will be, and well, Classy thinking maybe it's just a clickbait article. Could be. That's why, unless we have more third-party verification from a dedicated gaming site with multiple people kind of looking at it, we really don't know. So hopefully it's nothing. And Ian, yes, someone has told me that the recent firmware updates have definitely reduced the amount of dropouts in the HTML9. So whether or not it's completely eliminated really depends on your home, your Wi-Fi. That's really the biggest cause of it. But the recent firmware updates have definitely improved it. Whether it's improved enough for you, we won't know until you try it, Ian. So let us know. Get it and let us know.
I haven't so here's the situation with that. I have the HT9 and I sit next to the back left speaker, and so I can hear those dropouts pretty easily. And I think it has been better lately. I don't know when I may have gotten an update, but I've been having to swap out TV so much that sometimes I have it on, sometimes I don't. But I don't remember it last night dropping out at all while watching that movie. So that's good.
Yep. And a lot of you will be missing sales on the 2022 models. Don't worry. We know for sure Black Friday, bigger discounts. So don't worry about the $600 discount. Wait a few more months. Black Friday is just around the corner. And it starts in September. The actual Black Friday day is early November. But the sales start in September. And these are good sales in September. Is your audio out or my speaker out?
I'm turned off.
Oh, there you go.
I'm talking to Eric. Sorry.
Okay. I thought you were talking to me. Wait, what happened?
No, I'm trying to listen to you, and then I don't want to be talking.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm still debating these, picking up these headphones. See, that's how hard it is to buy stuff on Prime Day. Gotta get those deals. Yeah. No, it's okay. Sorry about that.
And as a reminder, please hit the like button, guys. Let's get these deals out to those who may benefit from it.
Oh, I see. So that person's able to still put comments on there, but maybe people can't see them. Let me see. I'm going to kick that person out.
Oh, they have 1,000 fake accounts. That's the problem.
Sorry.
It's like they have different versions of the lips on the bottom.
I've just deleted them so they can't even put those up there anymore.
Yeah. There's someone sitting in some random country on the beach doing this.
I mean, that's a good deal, man. Making pennies on the dollar, man. Good for them, spamming us.
I love this comment. Sonny says, even though it's inexpensive and not high-end and it is budget, I like my 75-inch Omni. I didn't know Omni was a brand, honestly. So you got Omni, you got all these local brands, even Fire TV from Amazon or Westinghouse. And the one thing I say is a TV is better than no TV, right? So 75-inch Omni, hey, better than a 22-inch TV, doesn't matter. If you have a TV, enjoy the TV you have, because there could be no TV. I remember for a time, I don't know if it was in college, and I was watching a tiny 24-inch whatever, this antenna with the aluminum foil. Half the time, it's just so full of static, but I was so happy because I got audio. So absolutely. Love the TV you have, man, as Brian Whisper Status likes to say. $800 is a good deal. I would get the 65-inch TCL though for $700. I prefer the UHG. For me, has a few blooming issues and the color's a bit off. The TCL R635 for $700, I felt had better color out of the box, and although not as bright, the blooming is not as much of an issue. But definitely to taste, one is Android TV, the Hisense, and the other one is Roku TV. So I would prefer the $700 because it's not $100 better for me, but it is brighter though. So if you really need something that's super bright, 8G does it. The TCL 6 Series Roku TV isn't super bright, but definitely it does HDR justice, and it is brighter than the 900H for sure, and just a little bit brighter than the X90J. And don't forget, Bill needs to be reminded to click the like button. Otherwise, he will forget. Okay. Oh, are we spreading urban myths now? The S95B burn-in is happening at retail displays. Fact or fiction? Couldn't find a source. It's like, if you heard on the internet, it must be true.
Yeah, right. I will say for everyone listening, you can find examples of every possible issue ever. And typically, if you search issues with this TV, you're going to find things. But you have to remember, like, you're talking about 1 or 5 or 10 people out of 10,000. You know, you just take it with a grain of salt. Yeah,
and they're not lying. It just happened to happen to them.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the classic one, I bought a $2,000 camera on Amazon and I got a brick. Doesn't happen to everyone, and it did happen to them, but it doesn't mean you never buy a camera off of Amazon, right? Just beware that yes, sometimes they kind of sneak that camera out and replace it with a brick. It happens, but that is a nightmare though. The poor people that had the brick, it was hard for them to prove they got a brick and not a camera. But you know, sometimes bad things happen to good people. Can't live your life in fear.
It's pretty funny.
Oh, wait. So this is a good explanation. Only ask him to click an odd number of times. Otherwise, he might cause it to unlike. So we have to make sure we keep it odd. So either 1, 3, or 5 reminders, but don't do 2, 4, 6 reminders. Unfortunately, I've lost track, but that's really good, Bill, because I think people go back, oh yeah, I got to click it again. Wait, what?
Well, I guess I just ordered them. I didn't even try to order them. Wait,
what did you accidentally order?
I ordered a couple pairs of headphones. I thought it was going to take me to like the final page. I don't even know what card I used. That's all right. If it worked, it worked.
Did you order off of Amazon or where?
No, I ordered them on Best Buy because if it's the same price, I buy a lot of things on Amazon. But for electronics, I get the Total Tech membership thing. So it's like I'll take my 2-year warranty on everything, you know. So.
You know what's crazy to me is the LG C1 48-inch is $800. I think that's a pretty good deal, right?
Oh,
I mean,
I have that right there. We have that
inch?
Eric uses for editing. 48-inch, $800. Are you kidding me? That's great deal.
I'm refreshing my deals to see if there's anything worthwhile. Samsung, most of their 2021s are sold out except for the 85-inch, still 2300, which is pretty good. 2022, I would not touch them right now. Mostly because there are still discounts to be had, and also because I think there's a couple of firmware updates to be had as well. And here we have the Vizio M series. It's still $380. Well, the 5.1.2 on Amazon is still $380, which is pretty good.
Okay. So I'm sorry to interrupt you. I did see there is not necessarily that it's a deal that you didn't know about. I'm not sure, but it is showing on Best Buy that if you put an OLED for a Sony OLED with one of their soundbars, they are doing another $200 off. So the HT A5000 with the A80K, you get $2,000 for the 65-inch TV, and then you get the soundbar for only $600. So that's a pretty good deal because it was $1,000 soundbar, and now it's down to $600. And again, I'm sure that's something that Robert at Value Electronics would match.
Yes, he mentioned that. Yep. And he's going to give another couple $100 store credit on top of that as well if you buy from him. So there's a little bit more oomph.
Let me see if you can also get the sub discounted if there's any more discounts.
Yes, there's a sub discount. Yep. He'll layer everything that you see on Best Buy. He'll layer that on with his additional discount as well. But the thing was, this morning there was a lot he couldn't talk about because it cannot be published because he has restrictions, but he will give you the best deal and better than whatever's out there. So definitely good to work with a local. Let's see. You know, it turns out that the Panasonic UB820 for like $379 was $329. I think last week was a great deal. Right now on Amazon, it's still $399. So you're saving about $100. Are you using a Blu-ray player at all, or you're streaming only?
I do streaming mostly, but I also have we have the game systems, just the game consoles.
Okay, so this is a good time to go through.
Order this or not?
Okay, let's do this. Let's see 85-inch. We are going to see what's happening now in the world of 85-inch TVs, top to bottom. So that's not it. 1 second here. I think that's it. Okay, so we are going to, let's see, we are 55, 65, 75, 85, right? Or 75. And we're going from most expensive to least expensive. And I'll tell you what deals are out there on Best Buy. Obviously, Amazon might have deals that Best Buy doesn't have, but this is just easier to search and talk about as we go down. The QNED at 5500. The QNED is a good TV, but at 5500, there's a lot of deals to be had in the future because it's still a 2022 TV. So I'm going to pass through 2022 TVs really quick. And these are all, oh, interesting. The A90J sold out at Best Buy now. And 2800 isn't a great deal, but people love the A90J, so they'll buy it. And 75-inch for the price is gone. We know it'll be back. Q90B is still a new model, so don't worry about it. It's not sold out. This is $2,600 is actually not a bad deal now. I didn't expect it to be this cheap by this time because it is QD OLED. And look at that. All 110 stars. So these people really don't care about a lot of the issues people discuss on the forums. So that's good context. G2 is still very expensive. Definitely room to drop. X95K, definitely expensive at $2,500. There are lots of 2021 OLEDs I would get before I get the 65-inch X95K. And QN85B at $2,300.
I can't believe that QN85B 75-inch is the same as the QN90A at 85. That's crazy.
Yes, choose that all day long. Definitely.
That deal won't. I feel like that won't last that long. And once it's over, people will be like, "Oh man, I wish I would have got that 85-inch for $2,200."
That
like
someone's going to click that button. It's not them, right? Yep.
No, it's going to be anyone listening that if you're in the market, that's going to be one of those where once it's gone, everyone will wish they had gotten it. For sure.
Yep. And this is still a pretty good deal. 2000. Well, good deal now. By Black Friday, yes, it'll get closer to 1700. But if you need a OLED now and you want a 2022 Sony, this is it. Because at 65-inch size, the A80J is unlikely to be out there anywhere. You will have to drop to the 55-inch to get the A80J, and that's about $1,000. And did you ever see the 8K 6 series? That did not get good reviews.
Which one?
The 6 Series 8K, this one right here, it's like $2,000. Like, it's not available now, but it's just unbelievable.
You're talking about the 8K for TCL?
Yeah.
This year?
Last year.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to do the other way. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do the 8 Series 4K TV this year.
Yeah,
right, which hasn't come out yet. That one, I was confusing myself. No worries.
So what you talked about, this is going to end up being the same price, around $2,000. But that one is the 8 series, definitely a better move. I mean, 8K on a 65-inch, come on, TCL. So here's one of the good prices, $1,800 for the LG G1 OLED. The C1 is $1,600. I would pay the extra $200 and get the G1. But it doesn't have a stand, so make sure you either wall mount it or buy the stand and pay an extra $100 or so separately. And the 65-inch frame is the largest size that goes vertical. I know in my video I said 55-inch, but it's the 65. It's the largest size that you can go vertical. 75 and 85, you cannot do that yet. Maybe next year. And here we have the C2 at $1,700, but it's a 55-inch size. Still more discounts to come. So don't pull the trigger on that yet unless you have to. The A8H is still for sale.
Wow.
Or maybe not. There's like no button. It's like no button.
Oh, yeah,
just
there you go.
They just throwing out
Maybe
prices, right?
just
I'm waiting for
locally.
them. There you
Open
go. Yeah,
box.
there you go. It's not available. Okay. X95J, 65-inch, 1300, or the same price now. So the X90K, X95J. I think Classy prefers the X90K, same price. They end up performing so similarly that it's your call, but we know that the X95J is beloved by 328 people, and it's a solid TV at a 65-inch size. I have it. I thought it was great, and but it still falls behind in blooming and black levels. Contrast is not as strong as the Samsung, but it's a stable TV. But so is a QNED. So it just depends on what your preference is.
So hey, by the way, I think at some point here probably wrap it up for me.
Yep.
Are you gonna? How long you weren't? I don't think
I'm going to wrap it up when you wrap up. So how does like 5 more minutes?
Yep, I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
Let us know if you guys have any other questions.
Yeah. AV receivers. So, you know what? Since you ask and I am here, let me see. I'll type in receivers, see what happens. I would honestly go with Onkyo because it has Dirac Live. So the Onkyo is the most affordable Dirac Live out there. But if you just need a basic 5.1 and you don't care about Dirac Live because you don't care about room correction, oh, geez, Denon. So let's try Denon and see. Denon. Oops, Denon receiver. Let's type in Denon. Let's be specific here. 2700H is a great, 1700H is also good, but these, I don't see discounts though. And the answer appears to be no. No discounts on any of these. Wow. Denon doesn't have any discounts. Wait for Black Fridays, my friend. Costco. Go to Costco. Yeah, if Costco sells Denon, right?
Well, I know that they had a Denon receiver and they had some clip speakers. I think they were both like $4.99. So you could get like an entire Denon like Atmos 7.2 whatever, and it had 5 speakers, a sub, everything for like $1,000. I'm like, that I just want to get that and make a video because that's got to sound awesome for the average person. $1,000, like, come on, that's awesome.
And here we have a question for you, Brandon. What should be your choice for an LED Mini LED now? 21 or 22 models. What's your favorite?
Well, the best one that I've seen so far is the QN90B. I like that. I had a really good version of that. Mm-hmm. Then I got the 8K one, and it kind of had some issues. I think it was a local dimming thing. And I'm getting the 800B now, so the other 8K, and I'm getting that in a 75-inch. So I'll be excited to see that. But really, I don't really think that 4K to 8K is a big deal for me. I haven't, even if I watch 8K content on YouTube, I'm like, okay, it looks really good, but I don't know the difference. So I think that just that Samsung QN90B, because it has very good motion control. I just like the motion of that. I think that Samsung's better with motion for the LEDs than they are for the OLED so far. My OLED had a little glitchiness in the motion from Samsung. So that's my pick probably right there. I haven't really seen the X95K yet, but I haven't, you guys haven't said remarkable things about that TV, I don't think, right?
If you do get it, you have to get the 85-inch. Consistently, we're hearing from owners and people who've seen them both. That means the 65 versus the 85 X95K. The 65 has blooming and lifted blacks, 85 significantly less. Now, is it because of the AUO panel plus more dimming zones? Who knows? It's just consistently the 85 inches outperforming the smaller sizes. So yeah, if you get the 85, can't wait to do some head-to-heads with that one. And I'll take this last comment before we head out, only because it's important. Denon Marantz or Yamaha? So which brand of AVs receivers out there? Consistently, in my opinion, Denon Marantz is very solid. Yamaha is definitely a close second. Now, the crowds out there claim Yamaha has better sound quality. Denon Marantz may be able to do discrete channel processing a little bit better. The reality is, get one that you're willing to put the time in to understand, because both of these are phenomenal depending on your price point. But I do like Denon personally. I think they do a great job. I haven't personally owned a Yamaha, so I can't say much, but I do know that the fans of Yamaha are very committed to Yamaha's quality. So both brands. I think Marantz is a bit overpriced for what you get. I'd say Denon or Yamaha, unless Marantz model has a specific feature that you're missing the Denon. That extra diamonds on the name doesn't do anything for me at all. Feature for feature, Denon and Marantz are identical as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so, oh, wait. This is an important question. Should I buy the LG C10 one or just wait until Black Friday and get the 2? Wait until Black Friday. I'll leave you guys with that. Just wait. And, oh, Classy loves his Onkyo.
Onkyo's good. I like Onkyo, yeah.
And okay, so we're going to be at the shootout, everyone, New York City Valley Electronics at the end of the month. And before we leave, we're going to have this last question because it relates to the shootout. Brandon, what do you think will be the best TV overall for you? So not necessarily King of TV's winner, but the best TV overall. And I'm going to assume you could take budget into consideration. Just given the money, given everything that's out there, we're not talking like dirt cheap, but we're talking they have money, but they don't want to overspend for stuff they don't use. What would you recommend? I have one in mind already.
Well, I don't know. I think if it's, yeah, I mean, I think if it's going to be 65 or smaller, it could be still the Sony A95K, just because, you know, I haven't seen it, but it's just the overall quality of that and being a QD OLED. But if not, it sounds like the G2. I haven't seen it yet, but it sounds like, you know, in the larger sizes for sure, it just might have. It definitely looks like it's going to beat the A90J, which is still my favorite TV. So until something beats it, it's that. But I think the G2 sounds like it might have it beat this year. We'll see.
My response is very close to yours. I'd go with a C2 77-inch or 65. But C2, I think across the board, is so close to the G2 that unless you know why you're getting the G2, don't get the G2. Right. I mean, oh, I need it for ABC. And I know ABC is not in the C2, whatever it is, like brightness in this game, whatever. They're so good. And they both share the same processor. You're getting most of the G2 at a significantly less, without a heatsink. But now we know the heatsink doesn't do much. But yeah, I think the best overall TV is the C2 in any size. And definitely 7783, you don't even have the QD OLED discussion. And if you're going 97, then you're limited to the G2. So the G2 at the 97-inch size for $27,000, or the C2 in the 77-inch size by the end of the year. But I think we end up saying the same thing. It's an OLED, and it's an LG, and it's a 2022 model. So, okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to head out and enjoy the rest of our Prime Day, whatever's left of it. And until next time, everyone, don't forget to come back for our next live stream. Pass the remote.